Hi girls. So recently in psychology class we were asked to do a project. Bring a box and show with either the actual item or a representation of the item different things you use to calm down and make yourself feel less stressed out. And for me this was quite a good assignment because I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I was diagnosed with it about 2.5 years ago. So I've had it for a little bit now. Well, I've had it for a lot longer than 2.5 years, but I was diagnosed with it 2.5 years ago. So when I heard about that assignment, my first thought was that would be not a good assignment for me because I don't really handle stress very well. But then I realized that I actually have quite a few good, interesting, sort of unique ways of calming down and de-stressing because of this disorder. And I've sort of had to come up with other ways than just, meditating or yoga or tea, because that doesn't really work for me. So I just thought it would be a good idea to show everyone else, just so you can see that there are other healthy ways to deal with stress. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is my bulletin board, because that's the biggest, I'd say the most important stress reliever for me. And I'll just turn around and show you. It's right behind me here. You might have seen it in some of my other videos, just sort of in the background. So as you can see, probably some of you noticed, I really like Megan from Megan Hearts Makeup. So she's on there a few times. Right there. And I know that might be a little bit creepy, but she's sort of someone who I really feel like I can sort of look up to. Nice, just sort of calm, grounded girl that I feel like is someone that I'd like to be like. So I have some pictures of her, and as you can see, I have pictures of me having fun with my friends. I have some pictures from my godson's baptism. I have different things. This right here, that's something my friend made me, so I like that. It says I love Bibby, and I'm Bibby, so I like that. Just things that you can look at and feel, loved and feel happiness about. I have I have a very high rotating rate on a very high turnover rate, I guess I'd say, of things that go on my bulletin board, because I'll keep it for something for a while and then I'll decide I want something else. Like some other things I have in my box that will go on and off of my bulletin board. And this is one of my favorite books, is Looking for Alaska. I love John Green. He's the author. I actually wrote I love John Green in my yearbook. In my grandma. Just things I can look at and just feel happy. I have like inspirational quotes on cards and stuff like that. I am at peace. And I express my true being today. Things like that. They're just gonna make you feel better. I already showed birthday cards. I had a Pretty Little Liars thing up there. I just put anything that is gonna, when I look at it, I'm going to feel happy about. Another thing I do is probably not quite as good a system as the bulletin board system, but another sort of unique, sort of odd coping mechanism I have. I make collages, and I don't know if you could tell when you were looking at my bulletin board, but the background of that is mostly collages. And I make them just with what is that, like with magazines, and I just cut out pieces, just random pieces, and I stick them on, and it's just like a really calming thing, like cut, paste, cut, paste, and that's sort of, I'd say it is a good coping strategy. I mean, in comparison to a lot of other things you could be doing to cope with stress, it is good. It's not great because I do sort of get obsessed, with it and spend like a lot of time doing it, because I am obsessed. I have like an obsessive type of personality. So I start getting into it and I just like can't stop, and I'm like in my room and like blasting my music, like making collage. It's just the weirdest thing. But it does calm me down. But after and that's sort of how my mom knows sometimes that I am had a bad day or I am feeling stressed, because I'll be in my room making collages and she'll be like, "Oh no, like what happened?" Like, because it has to be pretty bad for me to start collaging. I have an agenda, and it just makes me feel so much better and so much more in control to just write down everything I'm doing, and just, it's like this. Here, I don't have anything planned for December, so I'll show you December. It's like that's, you can just write down what you're doing every day. And I really like it, and I can carry it with me. And I just feel really organized and just like I know what I'm doing, because I get really nervous if I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, or I don't know what I'm doing next, or I don't know the plan, or I don't know what's happening. That's stressful. Even there, it started in the end of July is when they start. I made one for June, and I even made one for the end of May, beginning of June, if you want to see how busy I am. Yeah. So just writing everything down, just getting it out in paper with a good agenda. That really works out well for me. Another thing I do is I read. This is my favorite book ever. This is I Capture the Castle. Got some wear and tear happening because I've read it quite a bit. So yeah, reading's definitely helpful. Another thing I do is I paint my nails, because I'm terrible at painting my nails and it takes a lot of effort. I get it just all over my hands, so it's something to focus on, because I do need things to focus on. If I'm feeling stressed, I need to focus on something other than what is stressing me out. So painting my nails, I'd say, is a good one. And you can see my nail polishes right there. I think I've said all the main ones. There were some other smaller ones that I threw in there so that I could get more marks. I also said talking to my mom, hanging out with my mom, was a good one. Watching TV, especially Pretty Little Liars, because when you see some kids on TV and they're getting like stalked and like blackmailed and stuff by some person who's like a stranger, and it's like scary, I just feel so thankful that that's not happening in my life, that I feel 98 times better about my life, because I'm just thankful that I'm not one of the Pretty Little Liars. And the series premiere was on last night. Oh my goodness. Toby shirtless. Oh my word. Okay, calm it down, calm it down. Okay, yelling. Well, this isn't really a good one, but sort of like, especially if I'm home alone, just sort of like yelling or singing really loudly, or just sort of gets out any aggression I have, as I just sort of like yell and scream. And I have a journal. I write in a journal, and I also have, this ties in with the agenda, I have a giant calendar that I can write everything down on, except lately I've been using my agenda a lot more than my calendar, but I still do use my calendar. And then the last one, this isn't a very good one, is I do retail therapy. Mostly with makeup, I buy makeup. And that's the only one on here that I really wouldn't say is a good thing. Except for maybe the screaming one, that's probably not great. Wait, those are some different ways I cope with stress, and hopefully it gave you some good ideas of what you could do, because there are a ton of really terrible ways of coping with stress. So I hope these can help you in some way. And if you'd like me to talk any more about my obsessive compulsive disorder or some other sort of mental health problem like that, because I do also I have some other things that I could talk about and just tell you how I cope with it and stuff like that. If you're interested, I could definitely do a video on that. And thank you for watching. I hope this gave you some good ideas on what to do next time you're feeling upset or stressed or anything like that. Thank you for watching.